It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, I'm a student. I'm here to learn from you.
I expect him to talk to you. But I have to be able to say we tried.
From FBI agents and serial killers to red carpets and unexpected career twists, the cast of Silence of the Lambs really took us on a journey. Some stayed in the spotlight, dipped into quieter lives, like Jodie Foster.
On that cover, I can't compete with my younger self. And if I try to, I just keep failing.
And a few made moves no one saw coming, like Anthony Hopkins, trending on TikTok.
Go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right.
So where are they now? Let's rewind the tape and fast forward the lives, from iconic roles to real-life reinventions. Silence of the Lambs was one of those movies that snuck up on people and had everyone low-key obsessed. The plot? FBI newbie gets thrown into a messed-up murder case and ends up chatting with a literal people-eater to catch another casual. Jodie Foster played the rookie agent, and Anthony Hopkins came through as the creepiest shrink-slash-cannibal anyone's ever seen. Calm, polite, and somehow scarier than the dude actually doing the killing.
Why do you think he removes their skins, agents?
It wasn't some action-packed thriller. It was slower, way more intense. Just two people sitting across from each other, talking, but every word felt like it could snap you in half. Clarice had this determined, slightly nervous energy, while Lecter just toyed with her like it was a game. The tension was insane without anyone even raising their voice.
I've been in this room for 8 years now, Clarice. I know there will...
Critics loved it. The industry couldn't get enough. It swept all the major awards like it was nothing and made way more money than anyone expected. For a movie that leaned into the weird and uncomfortable, it weirdly became a huge deal, and the impact, next level. Hannibal Lecter basically turned into a fictional legend overnight. People still reference that one creepy dinner line without even watching the movie.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice cayenne.
It kicked off more movies, a series, and pretty much opened the floodgates for every moody detective show where the bad guy is always 10 steps ahead. None of them quite hit the same though. This one just had a certain offbeat energy that stuck with people long after the credits rolled. There's a whole rabbit hole of real-life crime inspo and messy behind-the-scenes stuff if you're into that kind of thing. But even on the surface, it was just different, disturbing, stylish, and way too good to be forgotten.
Student. I'm here to learn from you.
Jodie Foster absolutely crushed it as Clarice Starling in The Silence of the Lambs, turning the role into an iconic moment in Hollywood. She played this fearless FBI agent chasing down the twisted Buffalo Bill, with a little help from the even scarier Hannibal Lecter. Her performance scored her an Oscar, making it clear she was here to stay. After that, she didn't just sit back, she flexed her acting muscles again in The Brave One, where she played Erica Bain, a woman hunting for justice after some heavy trauma. But that wasn't all. Foster also stepped behind the camera to direct Money Monster, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts. Total boss move. More recently, she's been killing it on screen again. In The Mauritanian, she played Nancy Hollander, and that earned her a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. Then, in Nayad on Netflix, she showed up as Bonnie Stoll, snagging an Academy Award nomination in the process. No matter what, Foster's career has been all about pushing boundaries and choosing roles that really show off her skills. She's cemented herself as one of Hollywood's top players, whether she's acting or directing. Next, Anthony Hopkins.
Tell me, what did Miggs say to you? Multiple Miggs in the neck.
Anthony Hopkins' turn as Dr. Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs basically defined the role of a villain. With that eerie calm and his unsettling charm, he turned the cannibalistic psychiatrist into a character that's stuck in pop culture forever. That performance scored him an Oscar, and he didn't stop there. He brought Lecter back in Hannibal and Red Dragon, making sure the character stayed at the top of the villain leaderboard. After Silence, Hopkins kept flexing those acting chops. He played a butler in The Remains of the Day, snagging another Oscar nomination. He even played Richard Nixon in Nixon and John Quincy Adams in Amistad, proving he could totally transform for any role. Then, in The Father, his portrayal of an aging man struggling with dementia won him a second Oscar, making him the oldest actor to ever snag that honor at 83. But it's not just acting. Hopkins got his hands into pretty much everything. He's directed, produced, composed music, and even painted. His Instagram shows off his wide range of interests. Oh, and in March 2025, he dropped the bomb that he's releasing a memoir, We Did Okay Kid, all about his career, tough childhood, and sobriety journey. Recently, he starred in Freud's Last Session and even popped up in Locked, a thriller with Bill Skarsgård, where he played a rich guy out for revenge. Plus, he's got a role in Guy Ritchie's upcoming movie, Wife and Dog, alongside Benedict Cumberbatch and Rosamund Pike. Not everything's been a hit, though. His portrayal of King Herod and Mary for Netflix didn't land well and got slammed for lacking energy, which led to some pretty rough reviews. At 87, Hopkins is still out here doing his thing. Next, Scott Glenn's
I expect him to talk to you. But I have to be able to say
Scott Glenn played Jack Crawford in The Silence of the Lamb. As the FBI agent overseeing Clarice Starling, he kept things cool, professional, but still had enough depth to make their dynamic more than just boss and rookie. No theatrics, no dramatics, just solid, grounded acting that fit right into the movie's tension. After that, Glenn kept busy, stacking up roles in all kinds of films. He was the veteran firefighter in Backdraft, played himself in The Player, and tackled intense roles in Extreme Justice, Slaughter of the Innocents, and Night of the Running Man. He switched things up with The Virgin Suicides, took on high-stakes action in Vertical Limit, and brought an edge to Training Day as Roger. Most recently, he popped up in The White Lotus, making a surprise appearance as Jim Hollinger, the resort owner, and faced off against Walton Goggins' character in a tension-packed scene. It was a short but impactful role, and he worked closely with creator Mike White to flesh out the character. Up next, he's starring in Eugene the Marine, an action thriller that hits close to home, considering he was in the Marines before diving into acting. At 86, Glenn was still in the game. Next, Ted Levine.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Ted Levine creeped out an entire generation with his role as Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs. The unsettling performance stuck with audiences, proving he could take on characters that were as eerie as they were unforgettable. But instead of getting boxed into the terrifying villain lane, he kept things interesting with a career that bounced across genres. He showed up in Heat as Detective Bosco, adding to the film's high-stakes energy. He kept the momentum going with Georgia and Bullet, and then did a total 180 in Flubber, because why not? He even played astronaut Alan Shepard in HBO's From the Earth to the Moon, showing he could shift from crime thrillers to sci-fi history with no problem. The early 2000s had him diving into high-speed action with The Fast and the Furious as Sergeant Tanner and taking a small but memorable role in Ali. He also provided the voice for Rusty Nail in Joyride, an uncredited gig that only made his performance even more mysterious. But the biggest shift came when he played Captain Leland Stottlemyre in Monk, proving he had solid comedic timing and making him a regular on TV screens for years. Levine kept switching it up, playing intense roles in The Hills Have Eyes, American Gangster, and Shutter Island, where he played the no-nonsense prison warden. On TV, he kept landing major roles, from The Bridge to The Alienist, making sure he wasn't just remembered for one character. He also jumped into the Jurassic World franchise as Ken Wheatley, the guy you definitely didn't want in charge of dinosaurs. More recently, he showed up in Big Sky as Horst Kleinsasser, a role that once again let him bring that mix of menace and authority. Next, Anthony Heald.
From a research point of view, Lecter is our most prized asset.
Anthony Heald made sure nobody forgot Dr. Frederick Chilton, the smug, insufferable prison doctor in The Silence of the Lambs. He doubled down on the role in Red Dragon, making Chilton even more punchable. But his career wasn't just about messing with Hannibal Lecter. He had way more up his sleeve. Broadway was his other playground. He snagged Tony nominations, lit up the stage in everything from Anything Goes to Love, Valor, Compassion, and made a name for himself as a legit theater guy. Regional theater? He owned that too. He spent over a decade at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, taking on classic roles like Shylock, Timon, and Iago, basically a masterclass in playing characters who who either lose everything or ruin lives. On TV, he thrived in Boston Public, where he played Vice Principal Scott Goober, the type of educator no kid wanted to deal with. He also popped up in The Practice and Boston Legal, reminding everyone he could play authority figures who were just a little too intense. His film credits stacked up with The Pelican Brief, The Client, and A Time to Kill, proving he could hold his own in high-stakes legal dramas.